What's up, everybody? This is the Booch, and welcome to episode 6 of the Boochcast reviews, Darkside of the 90s. And as you can see, I am in short sleeves now. I thought it was going to be cold again, so I had the thermals on, but I was sweating like Elvis's wife at an Enrique Iglesias concert, so I finally just had
to... His words, not mine.
Uh-oh. So I finally just said, I have to put a t-shirt on. I have to. I'm tired of sweating, you know. It's like...
I have to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good thing we're making sure we don't sweat, because during this episode, there's going to be quite a lot of sweating going on here. Because this one is hot. Because we're getting into one of the hottest moments of the 90s, both temperature-wise and sexual-wise. This episode is called Baywatch Sex Sells. Zach, you know the lyrics. You know the music.
The lyrics rather.
Dun 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 dun. Yep. The infamous Baywatch.
Yep. Pretty blonde girls with big boobs.
Oh, God, were they big.
They were huge.
They were perfect.
Size of watermelons.
Oh, so hot. Want to touch the hiney.
Ooh, or just do this. What about...
It's the early 90s. And this may be the most recognizable piece of music on the planet. Dun, 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 dun. From the opening's first note, Baywatch promises action, romance, and the chance to see some skin. Got a long way to go, skin. Mm-hmm. It was about Pamela Anderson and all these beautiful girls. This California dream of borderline playmates running around in the sand. Baywatch will grow into a worldwide phenomenon, but the show was born out of two down-and-out writers who go to get high.
Walk on a beach, smoke a joint.
Yep.
Hey, let's watch people run in slow motion.
Yep. And that was Michael Burke and Doug Schwartz who created the show. They're best friends and first cousins, so they're actually related. Now, their agent says they're screwing up, and they have to come up with something. So they go to the beach, as Zach said, go to the beach, smoke a joint, and walk around in the sand, trying to think of an idea for a show. And they see a lifeguard run down a tower, run into the surf, pull people out, caught in a riptide, and then here come these yellow trucks with lights and sirens and boats are coming from offshore, and everybody's in bathing suits. And their first thought was, how come no one ever thought of this before? Like, you're looking at lifeguards and wondering why nobody ever thought to make a show about this. And I think the theory is because no one really thinks a lifeguard's life is interesting. You know, when you're a kid, you just see him as the guy sitting up there yelling, no running.
True.
No toys. Hey, slow down. Every now and then they got to jump in and pull a kid out. But most of the time, they just sitting there. You know what you're doing. It's an easy job.
Very true.
Nobody believed in the show originally because they did not understand a show about lifeguarding, because there's never been a show about lifeguarding before. By the way, he changed his shirt, so I had to trim around this.
Oh.
They were concerned about no one wanting to see people getting tans on the beach. And how many different rescues can you do? So to convince them, Michael, Doug, and their third partner, Greg Bonin, who was Doug's brother-in-law, went out and shot their own 3-minute presentation of what Baywatch is. And that's good. You know, you got family resources, you're trying to work things together, and you don't realize how popular this family really is in cinema or TV until later. But I love, they're doing what you gotta do. Pulling favors from everybody you know to try and put a demo reel together. Greg had just come back from filming the Olympics and had a shot of sprinters in slow motion. So they edited it to Don Henley's Boys of Summer. For the promo, they cast their friend Mike Newman, who is a real certified lifeguard. So they had a real lifeguard doing this show. To so that way you have somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. The theme of the show was the Southern California lifestyle, with real lifeguards and the action adventure. It was the beach and beauty and the sunsets every night. And once they saw that, they got it. So they saw, okay, this is what we're kind of centering around here. And I think what I like about it is that, again, it's an original concept. Because like I said, no one's ever done a show about lifeguards before. So when you can bring something original to the table, it makes it easier to get sold. Grant Ticker, president of NBC, and Mary Tyler Moore, and all this other stuff, he watched it and goes, it's great, I get it, it's action-packed, it's beautiful. But I don't think there's a series in it, so do a movie. So basically he decides, let's do a TV movie instead, because I don't see how you can make a TV show out of this.
Yeah, true.
Put Panic in the title. So they wrote and shot Baywatch, Panic at Malibu Pier. So if you're wondering why it was called Panic at Malibu Pier, it's because they had to appease the network by putting the word panic in the title. And sometimes you got to make compromises like that. When it's time to shoot the movie, they recast. Mike Newman is devoted to a bit player, and the role of the head lifeguard goes to none other than David Hasselhoff.
Don't hassle the Hoff.
Yes. So David Hasselhoff is the first big star to get into Baywatch. And here's the thing about Mike Newman. I can understand why he was reduced to a bit player, but even if he wasn't a cast member at all, me personally, I would have kept him on as a consultant. Or have him be some type of lifeguard coach. Yeah. And I wouldn't say acting coach, because he doesn't know shit about acting. But I think what he should do is bring lifeguard authenticity to the show. It's best to have a real certified lifeguard that can tell you, hey, that's not how a lifeguard would do that. You have to do it this way. Now, sometimes you'll have to compromise a few things for camera effect, so you have to cheat a couple ways. But in general, you want to be like, hey, here's how a lifeguard really pulls somebody out of the water. You gotta, hold them like this. Tilt the chin back. Here's how you administer the CPR. Here's how you dive in like this. So he's like, I would have him teach them how to look like authentic lifeguards in order to make this work. They also cast Billy Warlock and Erica Eleniak, who NBC didn't want at first because she posed for Playboy. But the writers fought to get her on because they liked her audition. Yes. They had this thing about, oh my God, she posed for Playboy. Oh my God.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, apparently people think if you pose for Playboy and you're naked in a magazine, they think you're a terrible person. That was the stigma with Playboy. Why would you pose naked in a magazine? What is wrong with you? Have you no shame? Don't you love yourself? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's why they have no problem being naked. It's y'all lonely motherfuckers, you ugly bitches who don't love yourselves at all that get mad at women who pose for Playboy. Because you're mad that your boyfriend or your husband finds her sexier than you. And most of the time, it's not even because she has a better body. It's because she has the confidence that you keep lacking. If you would just doll yourself up a little bit, walk in with some sexual confidence, remind your husband or boyfriend the woman they fell in love with, you get more attention. Because if a guy's in a relationship with you, 9 times out of 10, he wants to fuck you. Okay? But sometimes you got to put forth the other. Guys do too, but girls more. Yep. The movie was successful and the highest rated movie on NBC for that entire year. As a result, they greenlight the 22 episodes of Baywatch. So they get their first season because the movie did so well. Yes. David Hasselhoff was a huge singing star in Europe. Yep. And the Germans worshipped him.
They did.
Oh my God, they did. Yes. We love the Hasselhoff.
We love the Hasselhoff.
Yes,
with sausages and everything else.
The Hasselhoff, he's a good singer.
He's a very good singer.
Very good singer, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Yes. And Hasselhoff. Nobody saw that. Hogan, get the call.
Get the call.
To capitalize on his appeal, the Baywatch creators looked for ways to feature him. They gave him a son so he could tell father-son stories. Like, they wanted to be able to tell stories about, like, a single father raising his son and the difficulties of that. Mm-hmm. So that's how David Hasselhoff told a lot of the story. But as they started bringing in the hot chicks, he wasn't really a sex symbol on the show that much. Except to the girls who thought Hasselhoff was sexy. But it also helped because as he got older and the sex appeal wasn't there as much, it still gave him something relatable. Because there's something about single dads that turn women on. Because that means he wants a family.
Yes, he does.
Would you like another kid?
No.
There you go. Women loved the relationship with David Hasselhoff as a single father, raising a young boy named Hobie. The largest audience that watched the show was women. So what now? I'm sorry.
I didn't know that.
What?
What?
Wait. Women? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some confusing. There's some shit that happens way later in this fucking show that makes me go, women? Really? Y'all were the big demographic of Baywatch.
Yep, I guess so.
I have to believe that it's because it's pre-Pamela. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with for why there'd be more women watching the show.
Yeah.
Like, that is the... Wow. If y'all love the show so much, the hell y'all bitching about? That confuses me.
Don't know.
Anyway. The show did very well, and after the first season, Burke and Schwartz meet with the studio expecting to be ordered back for season 2. Instead, the show got canceled. The reason was because GTG was so bad as a studio and therefore went out of business. And there was no one left to finance Baywatch. So again, it comes to a money issue.
Yep.
You know, you can have a popular show, but if there's no financial backing, the show can't produce.
No, it cannot.
Okay? GoFundMe didn't exist back then. You couldn't go on a GoFundMe and say, hey, we need to raise X amount of money to get a season 2. Please help us out. No, you actually had to go find another place.
Yep.
The writers went to a Passover dinner with Uncle Sherwood Schwartz, their uncle, who was the creator, executive producer, and showrunner for, get this, Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. Yep. For Gilligan Island, man.
There was a girl I used to work with called Jillian. We never tell much it. I always play that song. She goes like really red. I go like, like shut up, red.
Hey, why were you late coming back from lunch? Were you making a coconut phone with the professor? And then of course the Brady Bunch, which everybody knows that show.
It's a Brady Bunch.
Yep.
Magic.
Ow, my nose. So anyway, he was also a huge fan of Baywatch. He told him that Baywatch was their Gilligan's Island. Don't let it go and see if Grant Ticker will sell you the rights back to Baywatch. He sold it back for $10. That's how much he was going to give them for Baywatch. And they took it.
Yes, they did.
They took the $10. They took the $10. He gave them back the rights. And everyone thought they were stupid. But they knew they had something.
Yep.
They decide to get the band back together. Hasselhoff signs on for season 2 and becomes one of the show's producers as well as the star. His popularity helped secure financing to make the show in syndication. They raised $600,000 per episode from Europe, especially Germany.
And of course it's good.
And they launched in syndication in September of 91. So, Hasselhoff's success in Germany got Baywatch to season 2.
How do the Germans like this?
They thought he was a great singer.
I don't think he.
Well, that's because in America, we had different standards than the Germans.
Oh, do we?
Yes. But as an actor, people loved Hasselhoff. But before they start production, Hasselhoff's on-screen son, Hobie, needs to be recast. So they bring in Jeremy Jackson.
You know who's supposed to get it?
I know, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Jeremy Jackson is playing in the pool with his friends. And his mom tells me he has his audition. He almost doesn't want to go because he's having fun, but she tells him it's with the Knight Rider. Okay. I'm sorry. What? What?
What?
Okay, this is why this is the thing about child actors that bugs me. You're a child actor. You go on auditions. You're trying to make it. What kind of friends are you possibly playing with that you can't walk away from them for a minute to go do an audition? Let me tell you something. If I got an audition for a TV show, I would walk out in the middle of this video. If I got a text right now saying, Vinny, there's a big audition, we need you to come down and read for this part. Guess what? Zach's taking over the Baywatch. I'm saying, Zach, finish this off. I have an audition. You know, that's how the fuck this goes. It's the business.
It's the business.
Don't get me wrong. I love making these YouTube videos. I love the Boochcast faithful. But I also have other things outside of here. I am an entertainer. If I have to take a meeting or I have to go audition to get on a big role in a show, I'll sacrifice one video to go do that. I'll be like, that's why I have co-hosts. So they can take over shit when I got shit to do. They've done it before.
Yes, we have.
I've had Elvis and Desmond have taken over on days where I was filming. I've had John and Rhiannon, when they were on the show, they took over for things while I was off doing auditions and comedy shows. Hell, when Jerry was on the show, we were supposed to do an interview with the 40 Acres and a Stool comedy troupe. But I got booked to host a gig at the Beaufort Variety Theater. I was an MC for the weekend. I left to go do that gig while Jerry interviewed them, and I played the interview. So that's why here in the Boochcast, we got a team going. So one guy can take over when I leave. Or when we did that SummerSlam video that you guys will never see because copyright won't let us. But if you saw us on Twitch, you know Zach ran the first hour by himself. So I had to take Buff Bagwell to his car.
And I was on the heavy influence whiskey.
Too much of that. I don't. But yeah, but due to copyright reasons, that SummerSlam video will never see the light of day. Hopefully, the other ones in the future will get there. I know we have a few coming up at some point, but hopefully the next one will. We'll see. But anyway, I thought that was fucking stupid of Jeremy to almost miss this audition. Because you're like, Mom, I'm playing with my friends. Go fucking do your job. Anyway, his audition was a crying scene. And when his mom would see that he had a crying scene, she would sing You and Me Against the World to help him cry, to help him get in the mood. And he eventually cried. He read the lines and got the part. He almost lost the part.
Oh boy, here we go.
To none other.
You fucking say it.
Leo.
Don't say it.
To Leo.
Don't. I'm warning you.
Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's not DiCaprio. You just have shitty fucking taste.
But because he was a teenager, Hasselhoff said he can't do these kind of scenes with a teenager. So off you go, Leo.
He hates him for some.
Off to make another shitty movie. After the second season is over, Billy and Erica leave the show. And if I'm the producers, I'm pissed that Erica leaves the show. Like, did she get let go or did she quit? If Erica quit, fuck that bitch. You know why I say fuck that bitch? This is why I say fuck that bitch. Because they fought to get her on the show against the network. They stuck their neck out for her and she leaves the show. Yeah, fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
The distributors are freaking out because they were the young, hot, sexy talent. They need to get a powerhouse actress that would get attention. And as they're looking, they get a phone call from Hugh Hefner, who said they just brought a girl from Canada to do a Playboy cover shoot named Pamela Anderson, and was so impressed with her beauty and her personality that he called Michael because they were friends. So Michael's friends with Hugh Hefner and said, you've got to meet this girl. She started on Home Improvement as the Tool Girl. That was when people got their first real look at Pamela Anderson. Now, when it came to Baywatch, she missed her first 3 auditions. So they thought she was never going to come in. She eventually does. They asked to see her in a bathing suit. Which, in this case, is not inappropriate. No. Because the show is called Baywatch. You're going to be a lifeguard.
Yes.
You are wearing a bathing suit.
Yes.
So part of your audition is how you look in the bathing suit.
Yes.
And if you need an example of this, I'll give another example. I should have mentioned this during TV for Teens, but I'll tell the story now. But it would have worked better in that episode. There's a show in the 90s that I loved tremendously called Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. When Dean Cain originally auditioned for that role, he almost didn't get the part. Because the casting director said she thought he was too young. In fact, she actually said, excuse me, this is Superman, not Superboy. But during that audition process, there were 2 parts. There was the acting part as Clark Kent. So there was cold reads, monologues, things like that. Then, okay, let's see how well you can act as Clark Kent. Then it came time, if you got a callback, which Dean Cain was able to, because even though the main cast didn't like it, she was outvoted. Everybody else loved him. They had to see how well do you fit in the Superman suit. Because obviously, I would not get the part. Because as Clark Kent, I would crush it. But as Superman, I do not have the physique to get into a Superman costume. You probably could. You have to dye your hair, but you can do the part. But I'm saying you can play the role. That's how the role would be played. So if I wanted to be Superman, I had to lose weight to play that role. So it made sense. And here's another reason how he got the part. And this is why I would have put this in the TV for Teens. When the casting director was on her way for the callback, when she got to the building, there was a long line of teenage girls surrounding the building, the entrance to the building. And she's trying to make her way through all this. Finally, she turns around and says, "What are all of you doing here?" And they said, "We heard Dean Cain was here." Now you're probably wondering, how did Dean Cain get a female fan base at this point? Because in Beverly Hills 90210, that's why I would have put this there, he made a cameo appearance. He had a couple episodes. And it was when Brenda was away in England. And then later he moved to California and they bumped into each other again. Obviously this is before Shannon Doherty left the show completely. Dean Cain did a few episodes as Brenda's boyfriend. During the time he was on that show, he built a fan base. Because that's how popular, as we mentioned before, how big and popular the show was. So because he built a fan base, that fan base followed him to every other project, and it played a factor in him ultimately getting the part. Because the people who liked him on 90210 jumped over to Lois and Clark. And it helped boost their ratings. Okay. Now, Terry Hatcher did a great job, too. She was phenomenal, as were the other actors who were in it. But that helped steamroll it. Yep. So it made sense for them to want to see her in a bathing suit. Yes. She says sure and starts taking off her clothes. And they're like, guys, we have one on the rack. You can go grab one. She goes, no, I'm good. She starts taking off her clothes and they're sitting there going, wait. We don't want you to be naked. What are you doing? But they found out she had a bathing suit on underneath. She came prepared. She nails the audition, suit and acting. She gets it all nailed down. And here's the funny part. Hasselhoff says no. Because she was in Playboy, and I don't like all those girls in Playboy. Really? I don't like those girls in Playboy.
Sound gay when you say that.
Really, dude?
Really, dude? You're the Hoff. Come on.
What do you care if they're Playboy models? What are you jealous about? That no one asked you to pose for Playgirl?
Shawn Michaels.
And he said, the scenes that I'm in with her, no one is going to be noticing my performance. No. They're going to be watching her boobs.
No shit.
Thank you! No shit, motherfucker!
See your ugly, greasy fucking mullet. We'd rather see her fucking knockers.
I'm sorry. Who is watching Baywatch for the acting?
We're watching for the slow-mo running.
Exactly! Now, the women are watching for your acting, Hasselhoff. Mm-hmm. And they're also watching because they think you look sexy. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people watch Baywatch to follow the story. Okay? They follow the story because it leads to the slow motion running. Mm-hmm. That's all the fuck we want to see. The boobs go up and down, up and down, up and down. Boobs on the bus go up and down, all through the sand. We're swimming.
Letters.
Bring them.
Pamela Anderson, we love you. Please don't sue.
Yes, we do love Pamela Anderson. We'll get to that later. They thanked him for his opinion, but they said, we're hiring Pam anyway.
We're hiring Pam Anderson.
Eventually, David came around when she saw how talented her acting was on screen.
Yeah.
So eventually, Dave wised up. He smartened up and realized, yes, we made the right choice. Okay, she can act. Oh shit! That's another reason.
Actually can.
Yeah, that's why they fucking hired her. Pamela Anderson's arrival doesn't just change the show; it changes some of the women who are watching.
Yeah.
Breast implants went up 500%, and it became a boom for plastic surgery. Mm-hmm. So now everybody wants to get plastic surgery to look like Pamela Anderson. At the beginning of the decade, America is changing the way it does business with the world. No longer are automobiles and agriculture its main exports. Entertainment takes the top spot, pulling in a whopping $60 billion a year.
Imagine that today's money.
Yeah. That's 90's money.
Yeah.
According to J. Robin Goodman, chair and associate professor in advertising at the University of Florida, one of America's greatest exports is our culture, and television media being part of that culture. It is basically enjoyable voyeurism, and there's no voyeurism more enjoyable than Baywatch.
True.
With Pamela on the show, the ratings jumped from a 3 to a 10.
Yeah.
So
she was a star.
Big star.
Big star.
She was it.
And
she was the end-all, be-all Baywatch.
And this is when she was, what, in her 20s?
Roughly, yeah.
Oh my god.
Then they started picking up audience members and more countries. TV Guide comes out and says, this is the first billion viewer show in history of television. Mm. This is the first show to reach 1 billion viewers, was Baywatch.
Yeah. It was huge.
It was also the first U.S. show to air in China. And in South America, all the villagers would come in their boats to this one hut, crank up a generator, and watch Baywatch.
And also in a Muslim country where they could go to jail, they risk them on the satellite. You're gonna risk your ass going to jail over a Baywatch show? They risked
imprisonment to use a satellite to watch Baywatch. Yeah, my friend, I risk in my country. I get satellite to watch the Pamela Anderson jog in the bathing suit, which is more than I get to see at home. I mean,
his words, not mine.
My friend, stop me when I lie. Stop me when I lie. Literally, my wife is literally covered from head to toe. When we were dating, all I saw was the eyes. When I lift the veil, it was literally a reveal. As opposed to your country, where you lift the veil as a tradition when you see more than her face leading up to altar.
We're gonna get married. Anyways, moving on.
Yes. It expanded to 142 countries and 42 different languages.
I did not know it was that big.
I didn't either.
I didn't know it was
Holy
that
shit.
big. All because of one blonde hair
bombshell
from fucking Canada.
Yes.
And she was posters all over the place. Billboards, in bars, in teenage boys, college dorms, all over the place. Just her standing here like this.
Yes. I'll say this. If entertainment is America's greatest export, Pamela was Canada's greatest export.
Very true. Along with Chris Jericho, but that's okay.
Yeah. They eventually ended up airing on every continent except Antarctica.
Well, yeah.
Although Hasselhoff retains top billing, most of that success is due to Pamela Anderson, as we said.
Yeah, all she has to do is just sit there and talk.
and the other sexy women who get cast.
Yes.
Gina Lee Nolan, who was the bad girl Neely Capshaw.
Oh, I remember her. I remember her in a couple episodes. She was a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
She was a bitch, but you just like the hot, well, she's a bitch, but she's one problem. She's, what's the word I'm working here? We're looking for fitting. She's what? Oh, yeah, hot. She had that
scary hot.
And she's a mean, horrible person. She gets butt naked in front of me. What the fuck am I gonna do? Don't touch her? Let's see here for a second. No.
Well, that's
I remember
the
her. She was bitch.
Well, that's the thing about the bitchiest. Sometimes the hottest girls are the bitchiest. Pamela Anderson is one of the few hot chicks that isn't a bitch in real life.
Side note: one of the young girls I work with, she's pretty. I'm not gonna mention her name. Thought I would try to do what I like to say, the fake crying thing with me. And I was like, sweetheart, I had a really good looking cousin. Jesse used to do that shit to me all the fucking time. And I've been that type of introvert for 20 years. I looked at her, I was like, not gonna work. She just looked at me. The fake crying doesn't work with you? Not by a long fucking shot. She tried to do the puppy lock. I was like, excuse me, I gotta get back to work. Nice puppy love look, but I do appreciate you trying. I walked away. She just goes, huh? I was like, I was just walk away. I was like, teenagers. Get a clue.
Sorry, I stopped listening after you said Jesse. Anyway.
Fuck you.
And then, of course, there was Nicole Eggert, who most people remember from Charles in Charge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Charles in charge. Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights. And I want Charles in charge of me.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please tell him not to fucking sing?
Never, never, never ride. So anyway, and then of course there were some other girls on there. I know Zach never shuts up about one of them.
The beautiful, gorgeous Carmen Electra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Just imagine the ultimate threesome: a young Carmen Electra, young Pamela Anderson at the exact same fucking time.
Oh God!
And he died the next day,
dude.
This is what we'll be like this.
I don't know if I'd make it to the bed. Oh my God! I'd be like,
two people.
I'd be like, swing, swing. Pamela Anderson became an international icon because of Baywatch. She was the sweetest, cutest, most authentic, good-hearted person who knew how to make the system work for her.
And that's what everybody says. Says like she's mean, she's spiteful. And one of the girls, I think one of her co-stars, like actually she wasn't. She's actually a very, very back at that time. She's a very, very sweet, caring person. She was. I was like, she's a nice person. Not the fact how hot she was, how hot she is.
When it comes to casting bombshells, they didn't just stop at Anderson. They would recast every season with new members. Mm-hmm. Others would leave, new people would come in. And back then, there wasn't any filters or Botox.
No.
They didn't have that back then.
No, all natural.
The only thing artificial were the implants. Yeah. That's the only thing that was fake were the breasts. Mm-hmm. But there was no Botox. Nope. There was no facelifts. No. Every girl on there was naturally hot. Just every now and then, some of them got implants.
Which we don't have a problem with.
We don't.
Whoever.
Who cares?
I don't.
Why would anyone care about fake tits?
I wouldn't, because you get if they're bigger than you get the order book.
Yeah, it's fun. Girls with big tits are hot. Like, look, I'm not saying that girls with regular tits don't get laid. I've hooked up with plenty of girls that had smaller tits. Mm-hmm. You know, my rule is this: as long as you're not flat chested, that's my compromise. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a cup. There needs to be some cushion. Yeah. I need something to grip. Okay? As long as I got a cup to grab onto, I don't care if it's A, B, C, or D. Okay? But if you're flat chested, I can't do that. I just can't. I feel like I'm it's like banging a dude to me. It's weird.
A, B, C, easiest one.
Quite simple as do, re, mi. In the fall of 94, Pamela makes her second appearance in Playboy, showing off a newly enhanced bust line. So here's where she gets the implants.
They go from here to there.
Yes. Gina was also not shy about showing off her body, and also posed for Playboy's Gala Christmas issue later on. Posing nude is seen by some celebrities as a way to take control of their own sexuality. Two examples of this were Kim Basinger and Sharon Stone. 9.5 Weeks, Basic Instinct. They were hotties. They were not.
That infamous leg sing and Basic Instinct. Good
Crossing the legs.
Sex scenes in that movie.
Oh my god, dude! Before I was old enough, dude, I was watching that before I would even had access to go to porn stores and stuff. Like I went and got the Basic Instinct DVD just so I could do scene selection and cut to those scenes. I don't even watch. I don't even remember the plot of the overall movie.
I do.
I'm sure you do. I'm just saying. I can't remember any time I've watched it from beginning to end. I just cut to the scenes.
Man, that was...
So it was good.
I'm surprised that movie was just rated R. I'm surprised it wasn't NC-17.
Oh,
Showgirls. Oh my god.
Well, that's because Showgirls went all out.
Yeah.
They crossed lines that the other two didn't. Like, the scenes were seductive in Basic Instinct, but there was a lot of stuff leading up to it.
Very true.
Showgirls just dove right in. Oof. There wasn't a lot of foreplay and Showgirls. Not a lot.
Not at all.
So, with Basic Instinct, they dragged it out.
Yeah, they did.
So when they finally got to the bedroom scene, it paid off. They paid it off later on. But you watch the tension grow between them until they got there.
Very true.
And of course, Kim Basinger in the Batman movie. She killed it in that.
Yes, she did.
Like, Sharon Stone did The Specialist with Sylvester Stallone. She got Stallone to do a love scene. Which I'm not going to lie, that was weird.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. Because I was used to Stallone in, like, Rambo and Rocky. I wasn't used to him doing romantic love scenes.
Over the top.
And the Material Girl Madonna publishes a bare-all coffee table book that breaks down even more sexual boundaries. And of course, Madonna was known for being one of the first to break down sexual boundaries. Because she was big in the 80s, you know. And she was doing sexual shit during a time when it was really frowned upon in music.
For the very first time, and personally, I'm sorry, Madonna, fuck you suck.
Yeah. Madonna as a singer, she was okay. I mean, she was good in her time. Madonna's problem today is, 1, she's batshit fucking crazy.
Cuckoo.
2, she's so far to the left she ought to work for NASCAR.
Cuckoo.
And 3, she still tries to dress the way she did in the 80s. She ain't got the body no more.
No.
And even if she was able to get the body, there's one thing you can't really change that well. The face.
No.
That's why you see a lot of girls, their body will be tight as a drum because they went to a surgeon, but they still got the old man or the old lady face. So you can always tell in the face. And no amount of Botox you get's going to change that, because that just makes you look weird.
Yes.
I'd rather see an old woman face than a young woman walking up to me going, "Hi, buy me a drink." I'm good. I don't need that shit. But on Baywatch, it's what keeps the women from bearing at all that fuels the success. Because they had sexual moments, but they do it tastefully.
Very tasteful.
There's a tasteful way to do these things. To deliver sexuality. They made you want to see what was underneath.
Yes.
Now, granted, if you saw Pamela's Playboy issues, you knew what was underneath.
Yes.
But still, there were some people who watched Baywatch that didn't buy Playboy magazines.
Nope.
Because back then, there was no internet.
No.
There was no internet porn.
Nope.
You couldn't go on a Dr. Skin or whatever the fuck it, Mr. Skin, whatever,
Mr. Skin.
and find all those scenes of naked celebrities. You didn't have that yet.
Nope.
So, for some of you, there was mystery. And they made you want to see it. That's what made it great.
Yeah.
They were sexy enough to get to approve the censors, but enough to where you still felt satisfied sexually watching it.
Yes.
So they had that. They did that very well, and some people forget that. Baywatch was very tasteful in how they did everything. Karen Braverman was the wardrobe genius who created the iconic red bathing suit. She personalized each swimsuit for each girl. So they were really tailored really trimmed, and it gives the illusion of being modest, sporty, and functional, as well as keeping a cardinal secret. So it was enough to where it looked professional, because they were the actual legit red bathing suits that the lifeguards in California wore. They just made them a little sexier.
Yes.
They made them beautiful, yet heroic.
Very heroic.
Because at the end of the day, they were being sexy, but also they were lifeguards saving lives.
Yes.
So that's the thing you also need to remember. That's the thing about lifeguards. Yeah, even though we're giving you this sexuality, they're still fucking lifeguards. Yep. They're going to save lives. They're going to be heroic. They're going to be good people. Except for the evil bitch. But even she saved lives. Mm-hmm. Which, when you think about it, is fucking weird.
Very true.
Pamela profoundly flaunts her new augmented body and owns her status as a sex symbol. And millions of viewers of Baywatch are similarly inspired.
Very inspired.
From the early 90s to the 2000s, the rate of breast augmentation, as I mentioned before, went up about 500%. And the most popular age category were 19 to 35-year-olds.
Jeez, really?
These were the average age groups going out and getting breast implants.
Yes.
Baywatch helped normalize plastic surgery, and the women on the show were open about their own experiences. It had become the major advertisement for plastic surgery and stopped it from being a taboo subject. Surgeons even came up with payment plans to make them more attainable. So, because they realized we're raking in business here. And more people want to get plastic surgery because they want to look like those girls. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to make the change to go there. While doing a survey among college students who got them, most regretted it and felt uncomfortable. Most of them think they're going to look like Pamela Anderson. And when they don't, it makes them feel worse because it didn't fix what they hoped it would fix. They also noticed an increase in size as implants went up 40% in size in the 90s. Pamela's implants weighed 2 pounds each.
Yo.
And this is the thing that I found irritating was that, again, I don't look like Pamela Anderson. You can't.
No one can.
Okay?
You can try.
You can get big tits, but it's not going to make you look like Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson does other things besides have big tits.
Yes.
And it bothers me because, first of all, that's the thing. Women always try to argue with this. How am I supposed to compete with that? You can't. Stop trying to compete with them. Bring something else to the table that these women are. Because let me let women know a little secret. If you got a boyfriend or a husband that's attracted to a certain type of body, of a certain type of celebrity, and you're worried that's going to make you feel insecure, let me let you in on one incy-wincy but ever so significant little tiny detail. He's never going to fuck that girl.
No.
Ever in his life. You know why? Because if you look at him, look at her, and ask yourself this question: is he really going to get her? Because most guys don't fuck that level of celebrity, unless you yourself become that level of celebrity. Okay?
Unless you look like Prince Charming.
Exactly. It's now male celebrities. They'll fuck any girl that moves because they're guys. So you ladies have a realistic shot at hooking up with a male celebrity. If you look good enough and you play your cards right, you could get into bed with a male celebrity and be a notch on the bedpost if that's your goal. But no guy's gonna fuck that girl. Like I said, you gotta bring yourself to the table. You don't need breast implants to impress the guy. If he's dating you, clearly he's attracted to something. So just use what you got. Build your confidence. Ladies have to remember, when it comes to sex, y'all are in control of this shit. We need you to spread the legs consensually for sex to happen. At least in a legal way.
Yes.
Provided you're over the age of 18. But I'm saying, stop trying to compete with models. You can't compete with them. No, they go to ridiculous lengths to look that good because it's their job.
Or Bill Engvall says, look at a Playboy or you look at a magazine with beautiful women, it's like, holy Lord, I am not in your ballpark.
Exactly.
You can try, you can look, you can mind, you can dream. 9 times out of 10, guys, especially and somewhat dudes, you're not going to get that good looking of a chick.
Yeah. There's only one way to get a hot girl like that.
2 ways.
Well, 2 ways, but there's one that overrules everything. No. Exactly.
Or
money in your pocket. But even that, you would still need money in the pocket.
Money in the pocket.
You know why?
Why?
Because they'll see the money before they see the swing.
If you have the money to do that, you can make it bigger.
I'm just saying. If you got the money, and then once you get in the bed and she sees the swing, the money attracts her. The swing makes her stay.
Big motherfucker.
Exactly.
There we go.
You betcha.
Gotcha.
In the 90s, there were 2 beauty ideals. One was the fashion. It was exceedingly thin with the bony look to them.
Ugh.
The second ideal was more seen-through, like Victoria's Secret or Baywatch, where it's still slender but also toned.
They actually look like they ate something.
You had the smaller waist, the smaller hips. Mostly it had disproportionately large breasts, which doesn't happen for most of us naturally. That's what he's saying to the girls naturally. So, emulating the Baywatch standard of beauty isn't just pressuring female fans to show. The cast feel it too. They brought Summer in as this new young lifeguard who was cute, athletic, adorable, but wasn't 100% comfortable in the red bathing suits.
Yeah, I remember Summer. I liked her too. She was actually a nice next door girl.
Yeah.
She was. I remember her. She was itty bitty, but in real life, she was actually a badass athlete.
She had very small breasts and it made her insecure. She felt very intimidated by Pam. So much so, they were in the middle of a scene and they shot it on a Friday. Mm-hmm. And then they went off on holiday weekend. Mm-hmm. During the holiday weekend, she went and got breast implants and went from an A cup to a double D. She then came back to complete that same episode, and they had to put a jacket on to cover her breasts, so you didn't see the change in the same episode.
Yeah.
For they had her covered in every scene after that, until the episode was done.
Yep.
After that, she wasn't featured in a couple of episodes.
Yeah, just where'd she go? Well, you could have told us you're gonna go get bigger boobs, which we have no problem with. You should have told us so we can keep the scene together. Like, wait a minute, she looks a tad bit different.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me educate you on something.
He's going to educate.
There is a thing in film called continuity.
Continuity.
Okay? If you're shooting an episode in succession on the same day, you have to look exactly the same. You can't have an episode where it's morning and night, and you go to bed with A cups and wake up the next day with D cups. People are going to notice and go, what the fuck? And you know what it does?
What?
It takes you out of the element of the show. Because when you're watching a TV show, you're supposed to believe that what you're seeing is real. That's why it's important for lifeguards to look authentic, for acting to be done a certain way. If you're acting out of the ordinary, it's not as good. They have to believe in the scene. Case in point, when we did Darkside of the Ring, Gator and I did an episode. You can go check it out. It's called Blood and Water, Onita's FMW. You'll notice in that episode, Gator is wearing a white wife beater, and he has a wrestling ring background behind him.
Yeah, I remember that.
When we shot that, we did it the first part at 7 in the morning. Then we went on, shot part 2. Part 1 got fucked up in the editing. Like apparently when there was a conversion with Zoom, I fucking lost the file. So we had to go back and do it later, like a day or two later. I told Gator, when we reshoot this, I need that wrestling background and you have to wear that white tank top again. You can't wear anything else. Why? Continuity. So it flowed. Gator understood that, and he put the tank top back on, put the ring background behind him, and we shot it, and I edited it, put it together, and put it out there for you guys to check out. So that was done over the course of 3 days.
Yeah.
Because we had some technical bullshit that we had to deal with. And Gator doing scheduling that was pissing me off. And a lot of, and at the time that we're filming this, kind of still is. Hopefully by the time this comes out, shit will change.
I show up.
Yes. Still annoying, but he shows up.
Fuck you.
My point is, that's how stupid this. So she's thinking, oh, if I get big breasts, they'll like me. I'm surprised she didn't get written up or fired. And here's why they had to take her off a few episodes. You know why? Because we got to explain why the fuck she went from an A cup to an E cup. So you got to take a break and come back. That way, if you come back in a few episodes, they'll think, oh, while she was gone, she was recovering from plastic surgery. Let's write that in the script. It's like when it's like a girl who all of a sudden shows up pregnant, and you're in the middle of an episode. No bueno.
No bueno.
You have to keep everything exactly the same for continuity purposes. Wear the same outfit, have the same look, everything. Now, once the scene was done, once the whole scene or episode was shot, then you can go. Or even in the off season, while they wait for the next season, then you could have gone, got your fucking implants, came back for the next season, and oh, look, she got breast augmentation. No one would have cared.
No.
But she damn near fucked up the scene.
Yeah.
It would be like if something happened here and we had to come back in a week. Zack would have to keep his hair exactly like that. He couldn't go get a haircut and come back later. Yeah, you have to wear a hat, but I would still be pissed. That's the point. That was such disorganization there. By the mid-90s, Baywatch is playing to a global audience of 1.1 billion viewers. But even as the number of fans gets bigger and bigger, the women in the cast feel the pressure to get smaller and smaller. There were rumors that some of the girls had to maintain a certain type of weight and look to stay on the show. The problem with being so restrictive is you're creating a problematic relationship with food. It can often lead to eating disorders. Which, to an extent, I can see that.
Yeah, that's true.
But, here's the other side. Wearing a bathing suit to work is part of the job on Baywatch. And the pressure to look good is universal. But it wasn't just the women.
Nope.
The men wore bathing suits too. They wore trunks so their bodies would be featured, and they were the only ones on television doing that.
Yep.
Because the women had one piece. Men just had the trunks.
Yeah.
So you had to have the six-pack.
Yeah.
And maintain that shit. And here's the thing. I'm going to be brutally honest. Again, Zach's worried about getting letters. We definitely going to get letters on this one.
Uh-oh.
I have zero sympathy for any man or woman in Hollywood that's pressured about their weight. I don't give a fuck.
Me neither.
You know why I don't give a fuck?
Why?
Because it's part of the job. There are times where people have to lose weight to play a certain role. Or gain weight to play a certain role. And here's why I don't have sympathy. You get paid lots and lots of money to do it. And the job is not that physically demanding. Acting is a skill. But it is not a hard-working, gritty job. Most of the time, you're sitting around while people set up lights and set up scenes. And I know this because I've been on film sets. Most of the time, you're fucking off in a corner somewhere while the people actually go out there, the tech people, set up the lights and the angles and the scenery. And then you come, and when it's time, after you're waiting for hours, just sitting there, either going over your script or just fucking off, you then come out to that scene that they worked so hard to put together and do your shot. You film that scene.
Yep.
Whatever you need to do in that scene, you do it.
Okay.
And then when the scene's done, you go away.
You go away.
You go back to your trailer.
Yep.
To sit and relax. Maybe get some more makeup. Your assistant brings you your guava juice. And your M&Ms that only have the green ones in them. Or your imported Fiji water. That's not going to be like I'm nuts. These are real A-list diva-like demands people have made. Okay? It's not that hard of a job.
Nope.
So when you have to put in effort like that, I have no sympathy. Do the job. You got to lose weight? Lose it. You got to gain weight? Gain it. If you got to take some acting class, if you got to have an acting coach and go over shit, do it. Put in the work. This is why working class people hate celebrities so goddamn much. Because y'all make a lot of money and you do the most bitching. And you complain about your jobs.
Yeah.
While actual people get up, go to work, and actually have to put in 8 hours and kill themselves and do a bunch of shit. Some jobs require you to be physically fit. Like if you're a fireman, you got to be in fucking shape. Because you got to climb ladders. You got to pull people out of burning buildings. You got to be able to spray the hose and get everything taken down.
Yeah.
If you're a police officer, you got to be in shape. Because you got to catch motherfuckers that are running. You got to learn how to be accurate with weapons. You got to be trained in combat. Because you may have to fight a motherfucker that's tussling with you. There is work you have to do to perform a certain job. As an actor, you do it. Also, when it comes to maintaining weight, I'm the wrong person to come to. Because I wrestled in high school. If anybody has to know about maintaining weight, it's me. The only other person that can relate is my mother. Because she was a ballet dancer. So she was on strict diets just like I was. I had to wrestle. I had to maintain a weight. I was 119 varsity. I know it's hard to believe looking at me now, but I was 119 in high school. And I had to maintain that my junior and senior year of high school. If I lost too much weight, I had to eat more. If I gained too much weight, I had to trim it. I lost weight over the years. Now, the reason I gained it all back is that when my wrestling career was over, I didn't have to diet anymore. I had no reason to lose weight. Nowadays, people are telling me maybe I do, maybe I don't. But, you know, the day comes where I have to lose weight, I'll fucking do it. In the meantime, in between time, I'm walking around like this.
6-pack keg.
That's what I always say. Keg has more to go around, baby. You bring kegs to a big party, not 6-packs. 6-packs is just hanging out with your friends. You bring kegs to the party.
Or buy yourself.
And ladies,
like I do almost every night in my little life.
And just so you know, ladies, you can tap this keg anytime.
If I poke you, you're going to go woohoo.
But you're going to go, as I throw you out the window.
I want to do it.
But anyway, that's why I have no sympathy for it.
Dude,
it's your job. Do
You're
it.
really pretty. You got a lot of money. Just do us a favor. Shut up.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The men are going through the same turmoil. So it's not like it's just the women. Either do the job or fucking leave. I hate when people get mad about that shit. I have to look a certain way. Yeah, it's called the job.
It is called the job.
Get a job where your looks don't matter. Be a receptionist. No one cares what she looks like.
Nope.
So anyway, there was speculation the men might have done steroids, but nothing has been mentioned or proven.
I don't think so. I think they just worked out.
Yeah. I mean, one of them did. We'll get to that in a moment. But she said, like, one of them said that there was rumors about it, but nothing was proven, nothing was speculated on. So we cannot confirm nor deny that the actors took steroids.
Yep.
Except for one who admits it in this documentary. Baywatch's obsession with body image eventually impacts its youngest cast member. Jeremy also had to diet, and no 15-year-old kid should be worried about not having a six-pack. I agree with that 100%. He had a mother, but his dad wasn't there. So David Hasselhoff really became Jeremy's dad. He became the father figure in his life. So, on screen and off, he was the father figure.
Yeah.
So David really wanted to mentor him and help him become a good kid, you know? He helps him get into the music business. And they have a song called You Can Run that hits number 3 on the Billboard European charts.
I don't remember.
I don't either. It was on the European charts. That's why.
Never mind.
As kids, we don't remember shit that happened outside the country.
No.
He performs it at the Olympic Stadium in front of 15,000 people.
That's a lot.
Oh, God, that's a lot of people. He started getting all of the press that the girls on the show were getting because he was now becoming a rapper. He became a teen idol and started making all this money and going to mansion parties and nightclubs. He was drinking, doing drugs, and staying up late. And coming to the set hungover. See? That's where the problem is.
Right there.
It's one thing to go out and party. It's another thing for you to come out and party and have it affect your work. That's where it becomes an issue.
Yes, it does.
He's in a limo with 21-year-old girls going to after parties. This is hypocrisy right here.
Right there.
Right here.
Right there.
He's a teenager with 21-year-old girls. None of these bitches went to jail. Assuming he banged any of them. I'm sure he did. And none of these girls went to jail?
Probably not.
Imagine there was a 15-year-old girl with a bunch of 21-year-old dudes. They would all be in the fucking slammer.
Slammer, right.
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy.
That is such bullshit.
Bullshit.
I'm sorry. If you're, I don't care how much money the teenager has. If you're 21 and you're hooking up with, and you're partying with a random 15-year-old, you're fucking sick.
Yeah, you're sick.
You're sick.
Sick.
Sick in the fucking head. That is messed up on so many goddamn levels. Baywatch is a worldwide phenomenon, and that's blood in the water for the tabloid sharks, who see a chance to get rich from invading the private lives of the show's stars. Yep. As the show got more and more popular, the paparazzi got more and more bold to get pictures, so they would chase after everyone, especially Pam. When Gina Lee Nolan first came on the show, the creators had them actually stage a fight, and the National Enquirer covered it about how the new girl on Baywatch and the old girl are fighting, and all this other stuff. In real life, they loved each other. They did it to get press. Every story about Baywatch helped them get attention. So they staged the whole fucking thing to have some fun. Because Gina even said Pam was nothing but sweet to her. But they thought, oh, they want a story? Let's give them a story. So they're going to have fun with the paparazzi. And we mentioned them a little bit in the Viper Room episode. Yeah. But I'll just restate this here. If you're that desperate for a picture, you're a shitty journalist. Yeah. This type of shit is why I don't respect journalism. Because a lot of you guys don't care about putting out stories and being accurate. You just care about being first and getting attention. There's a big difference between being an actual journalist and just an attention-seeking whore. And if you're a member of the paparazzi, you are not a journalist. You're an attention-seeking whore.
Attention-seeking whore.
You're a bigger whore than the girls back then that sleep around. And I don't even call them whores. Unless they're cheating on their husband or their boyfriend, in which case, you're a whore. If you're a girl who sleeps with a lot of guys and you're cheating on somebody, you're a whore. If you're just single having a good time, you're just single having a good time.
Come to us, please. We're single and we're pathetic.
What do you mean, we?
Okay.
They would follow Gina home and even went to her mom's home in Minnesota.
I would piss.
While the entire cast draws the attention of the paparazzi, there seems to be a bottomless obsession with the show's biggest star. People were fascinated about her life. She was the 90s version of the Kardashians. Okay. If I was Pamela Anderson, I would be offended by that comment.
I would be offended by that comment right there, too.
And Pamela, on behalf of the Boochcast, we'd like to apologize for Darkside of the 90's saying such horrible things about you.
Yeah, no.
Because there's a big difference between Pamela Anderson and the Kardashians. Pamela Anderson has two things the Kardashians never had. Heart and talent. Pamela Anderson had talent. The Kardashians have nothing. Kim Kardashian has one thing and one thing only. A fat ass. Nothing else.
That's it.
That's all she ever brought to the fucking table. And the other Kardashians are just riding her coattails.
Pretty much. One of the Kardashians is currently dating Travis Parker.
I'll pretend I know who either one of them is.
Blink-182's drummer.
Oh, so they stopped dating basketball players?
Yeah, I think he's like full vegan, tatted up motherfucker, and he's banging a Kardashian.
Wow.
Still like him as a drummer.
I guess they ran through all the NBA.
I guess they did, and the NFL as well.
And as the Kardashians would do decades later, Pamela Anderson finds herself in some explosive relationships.
Jeez, I wonder who.
Pamela owned a nightclub, and that's where she met Tommy Lee.
Overrated drummer.
On New Year's Eve, she saw him, and she sent over a drink. And he came over with a bottle of champagne, climbed in between her girlfriends and Pam, and licked her face from the chin to the temple.
Okay.
How the fuck does that work? What?
He's Tommy Lee, dude.
That is oh my God.
Tommy Lee.
I would never be that fucking bold. If I ever did that to a girl, it would have to be a girl I was already dating, and we watched that episode together. Because then she would enjoy it. Because she would understand why I'm doing it. Yeah. But you can't just walk up to some random girl and be like, that ain't happening.
Not today's world. That pepper spray and taste and...
Oh, yeah.
Your dignity just goes out the window.
You're done at that point. Pam goes down to do a photo shoot, and Tommy Lee follows her to Cancun. 4 days later, they were married. She was the gorgeous Canadian girl, and he was the bad boy rock and roller. And it was the perfect formula for the paparazzi. Yes. Tommy Lee was a rock star in the truest sense of the word. And Pamela's got a whole audience that has never even heard of Tommy Lee. I'll be honest. I didn't know who the fuck he was, and I'll be brutally honest, I still don't remember what band he plays for.
Motley Crue.
I knew it was one of the big ones. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, he's a drummer of Motley Crue, by far the most overrated fucking metal band of all time, as long as Metallica too. But that's for another conversation for another day.
We could have had that conversation last week, you know. All right. Their relationship was toxic in the sense that Tommy Lee was very jealous. On the show, there was a passionate scene between Pam and David Chokachi, where they are falling for each other and they have a kiss. Mm-hmm. So she kisses him in the scene, and then later on, Tommy trashes her trailer, and they had to get him out of there. Okay. Here's a message out there. For all the jealous men and women out there, let me let the child in a little secret. If you are dating somebody who is an actor or an actress, one thing you have to understand, at some point, they're gonna be in a movie where they have to kiss someone. They may do a scene that requires a love scene. It's going to happen. What you need to understand is that's work. And if you've got a good man or a good woman, they'll keep work at work. They'll kiss on camera, but there'll be no kissing off camera unless they're rehearsing the kiss for the scene. As long as you don't catch them banging in their trailer, there's no cheating involved. They're coming home to you. That's the reality. If you can't handle that, don't date an actor, don't date an actress. And as we mentioned before in the Rob Black XPW, don't date a porn star either.
I'm chopped off.
Exactly. Tommy would disrupt the show in the middle of a shoot and say, "Oh, no, you gotta come to my trailer. We're going in here right now." And he would keep her in there for hours. In the mid-90s, compact camcorders become available to consumers for the first time. The new technology puts the art of filmmaking in the hands of amateurs, including rocker Tommy Lee, who directs and co-stars in his own biopic featuring his honeymoon with Pamela Anderson. And obviously this would become like how people would make films. Obviously this is before webcams and YouTube videos and all that. In fact, in the beginning, before I even got a webcam, I used to record stuff on a camcorder and then I have to go to a studio and upload it. Like when I was at Georgia State and I used to tape my sets in the early years, I had that big ass Saved by the Bell camcorder so I'd have a buddy holding it. I would film my set and then I had to go to Georgia State University where they had this little area where you could edit stuff, and I only had one computer that did VHS to upload to DVD to upload to the internet. I only had one computer. So if that computer was busy, I was fucked. I had to wait for that one guy or girl to get the fuck up, and then I sit at that computer, put the tape in, convert it, and that's how in the beginning I used to edit videos to my YouTube channel. Like for now, most of the comedy videos I put up there aren't up there anymore. They were bad. But I do have a video that I did that with. It's called Marta Mia on my personal YouTube channel.
I remember that.
That was uploaded by to the Georgia State computer. Yeah. So, and here's the thing. Back then, you couldn't have long, dragged out videos like you can now.
No, you can't.
That's why I had it divided into two parts.
Yeah.
because it was a 15-minute show, but it would only let you do like 7 or 8 minutes at a time. Now YouTube lets you go as long as you fucking want, which I love. But back then you could only do 7 minutes. So, but I did that through the Georgia State VHS thing. So back then, camcorders were like a big fucking deal.
Yep.
Nobody really cares today. Even though some camcorders today are easier to convert to a computer. The now infamous video was never intended for global distribution.
Nope.
But it happens when an electrician who gets fired by Lee steals a safe belonging to the couple as revenge. When the thief cracks it open, he discovers the tape and decides to share it with the world. This sorry motherfucker here. I don't know how bad this firing had to be for him to do this. You know what I would have done?
What?
I personally would have sold the tape for a fuck ton of money. If I was going to steal it, which I wouldn't do that.
No.
I wouldn't go that far to humiliate somebody. No. But if I was going to do that, I would sell the tape and make sure I got a pretty big fucking sum of money for it. I'm not just going to upload that shit for free to the internet. Fuck that. I'm making some money, honey.
I would have blackmailed.
That too. The Internet Entertainment Group of Seattle somehow got a copy, digitized it, and put it on 2 of their dozen adult websites. On the set of Baywatch, a humiliated Anderson tries to keep it together. She was a very private woman, but the cast and crew pretended like nothing happened and went to work. Like, basically, they were telling her, look, we're not going to judge you, and we're here for you if you need us.
It was
like
stolen from her, baby. It was stolen from her. And there is a show on Hulu called Pam and Tommy. And guess who plays the so-called thief?
Who?
Seth Rogen.
Really?
Yeah, Seth Rogen's in it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, Seth Rogen's in it. Basically, Tommy Lee didn't pay him for a job, so he said, fuck it. Stole the safe, took the jewelry out. Oh, what's this put in? He goes like, holy shit. And I would personally go up to Tommy Lee, give me my fucking money, or this video right goes all over the fucking world. And he's like, here's your tape back. By the way, you fucking suck as a drummer, and walk away.
Well, here's what I would have done. I would have had a copy of the tape.
Yeah.
Don't bring the original. The thing is, whoop your ass, take the original, and you got nothing. Sure. You need the leverage. And I said, look, this is a copy of this tape. I have the original. This is the only copy I've made.
Yep.
Pay me what's owed to me, or I'm going to put that... Matter of fact, pay me double what's owed to me, and you can have this copy back, and the original will never see the light of day.
And it's not like Tommy Lee can't fucking afford it.
Yeah. So I would have Tommy pay me what's owed to me, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the tape. Or I would wait till the money clears in the bank, especially if you write me a check. I would prefer cash, but if I get a check, I'm like, okay, when the check, I'll give you this copy now, and when the check clears, you'll have the original. Yeah. So I want to make sure that money is in my account before I give you your tape back.
And after all this horrible thing happened to her, her life just went down to the shit. People were calling her a slut, a whore. And
yeah.
I was like, for a person who's that fucking pretty for making a sex tape with her husband at the time, you motherfuckers did that to that beautiful goddess. Rotten hell, you pieces of shit.
Yeah. The internet makes the tape an international sensation and redefines the phrase invasion of privacy. Anderson, celebrated for her confident sexuality, finds herself in the center of a storm of judgment with few coming to her defense.
Yeah.
Where they called her a whore and a slut. You know, you're out here where your children tonight. Why aren't you being a mom? And her yelling "fuck you" to these people. Like, all of a sudden, Pamela Anderson became a fucking enemy.
Became public enemy number 1.
Over a sex tape.
Over something harmless as this.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Because we were still in the 90s, like I said, we were in that transition year between freedom of expression and PC.
Absolutely.
So now the PC stuff's starting to come into play now. Because, again, people are afraid of sex. They're scared of it. And people who aren't getting laid or aren't in sexually fulfilled relationships are fucking jealous when they see other people who are. That's why it's mostly women who shame other women for having lots of sex. Because
they're harder than you.
You know why?
Why?
Because misery loves company.
Misery loves company.
And the women are like, I'm gonna shame these women into not having sex so they can be lonely spinsters just like me. Because I'm jealous of the fact that men want to fuck them and not her. Yep. And not basically she's saying this type of women are they're fucking all these other women, they won't fuck me, and I'm jealous, so I'm gonna say a bunch of shit to make them not want to have sex so we can all be miserable together.
Makes sense. And it's wrong. And after that, everything went to shit.
Yeah.
There's one scene in the movie where there's something horrible happened. I won't mention. And this paparazzi kept messing with the young lady who, by the way, who played the young Pamela Anderson. Bravo. And she's British. That's how good of an actress she is.
She changed her accent for the role?
Yeah, and she...
Damn, okay.
Immaculate. And there's one scene where she got a hold of something. The guy kept on hunt was taking a picture. She freaked out and starts fucking hitting the damn windshield. And the guy who played Tommy Lee just goes, come here, baby. Picks her up. I walks over. I was like, Tommy Lee, you idiot. How the hell did you let her go at 20-something years old? You fucking bozo!
At first, even the producers are nervous about the sex tape. Baywatch had romance instead of sex. They were sexy, but not sexual.
Yep, true.
But when Pam's sex tape came out, the distributors said, this is a family show, and you gotta write Pam out of the show. They fought to keep her, but the money won, so they wrote her out of the show. That is, until Doug says the ratings are twice as high as they've ever been before. We're not writing her out of the show.
Nope.
And let me just say this. I got two things wrong with this.
What?
First of all, who the fuck ever said Baywatch was a family show?
It really is, and it is, and it isn't somewhat.
I mean, I don't recall Baywatch being a show
where you can sit down and watch with your mom and your dad. My
mom and dad never once. We did not. I've watched a few shows with my family over the years.
Yeah.
One show we never watched together was Baywatch. No. Not one time. That's number one. Oh. Number two. Here's the other problem I have. Why is Pamela Anderson at fault for a sex tape that she did not leak? There's a difference between making a sex tape and uploading it to the internet. As opposed to making a sex tape, someone else takes it and uploads it to the internet. If you make a sex tape and you yourself, you, the individual in the tape, man or woman having sex, you go to YouPorn or you go to Pornhub and you upload the video to your channel for the world to see and it fucks up your life, guess what?
That's your fault.
Your fault.
Not ours.
You deserve whatever you get because you did something stupid.
Yep.
But unless that's your profession, you're one of those OnlyFans kind of people, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you got a regular job and you upload a video like that and lose your regular job, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. But if someone takes your tape without your consent and puts it on the internet, you should not be in trouble. At all. Because you didn't want that up there. Someone else did it without your permission. You can't get mad at somebody for that. You know why? Because sex is normal. Mm-hmm. The problem is people are so obsessed with this wholesome family image, people forget that adults do adult shit. Mm-hmm. A grown adult is going to have sex with another grown adult, provided both of them are into it. It's going to happen. And guess what? If someone is married, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have sex with their wife or their husband. If you see two people sitting at a table and they're a couple, guess what? At some point in their life or that day or whatever, they fucking. If they're not, their marriage is in trouble. Fact. So for people to get upset over a sex tape, first of all, again, it was with her husband. Mm-hmm. Pamela wasn't on a boat getting gangbanged by the entire Motley Crue band. She had sex with her husband with a private video that somebody stole and put on the internet. Mm-hmm. Nowhere in this conversation should Pamela Anderson be the enemy.
Nope, not at all.
Because she did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong
and the fact that the sex tape upped the ratings
makes it hilarious.
And not only that, should overrule anything you guys are saying.
Yep.
We're going to take her out of the show. Really? We're going to take out the person everybody wants to see?
Yep.
Because you're worried about money?
Mm-hmm.
So you're making money on Baywatch, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting money back on your return.
You are.
Why would you fuck with business?
Don't know.
You're going to lose the show, then you're going to be wondering why the show's not making any money. Because you took out the money. Mm-hmm. Stupid.
Stupid.
This is why some movie producers are just out of their fucking minds.
I can see that.
The tape made Baywatch ratings soar, and the sales of the tape did as well. Mm-hmm. The company that distributed the stolen video makes upwards of $50 million.
$50 billion.
And Pamela and Tommy Lee go after that money. Mm-hmm. They can't stop the tape, but the judge orders the video company pay a hefty settlement, and the company declares bankruptcy as a result. Pamela and Tommy Lee walk away with nothing.
They should have got some out of that, and I understand why they were that couple was going to sue them. That was an invasion of their privacy. If I can make $50 million, yeah, I'm going to sue you and get that shit back. Thank you for ruining our lives. Tommy, yours already ruined.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, even though they walked away with nothing on that, the company went bankrupt. Mm-hmm. And that's the one good thing sometimes that comes out of all this.
Yeah.
Is they sue scumbags like this out of existence.
True.
Like, the more recent example we have is the incident with Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
His sex tape. Yep. That Bubba the Love Sponge leaked onto the internet. Because Hogan didn't even know he was being videotaped. Mm-hmm. He was having sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Because they had an open relationship.
That's right.
And he took the tape and leaked it on the internet. Mm. And Gawker picked it up. Mm. And Gawker is one of those scumbag sites that are like this. They take great pride in exposing celebrities. And Hogan eventually sued Gawker out of existence. Because he made like $144 million. Oof. That's how much money was owed to him in damages. And I'm sure a portion of that went to his lawyers. But Hogan was able to win back. Not only was he able to sue Gawker out of existence, but he was able to accrue the money that he lost when his divorce from Linda and the Graziano lawsuits, which we won't get into that here. But Hogan was able to sue them out of existence. So that's the one good thing sometimes that comes out with these leaked sex tapes, is that if you got a strong enough legal team and a strong enough case, you can get these fuckers out. Mm-hmm. And get rid of these scumbags once and for all. Now, in the new and unregulated world of the internet, Anderson loses an early battle in a war that will rage on for years. Pamela's call for legislation is ignored, and soon being victimized in this new technological Wild West will be just one more price of fame. But eventually, that stops being the case. Yep. Because we now have this thing on now, for modern people, you know this, called revenge porn. Mm-hmm. Revenge porn is basically when you take nudes or videos of another person and upload it in the internet. Another example of this was Paige in WWE, who we now know in AEW as Saraya. Brad Maddox, who she was dating at the time, leaked all these videos out there and tried to end her career. Mm-hmm. And it took her off TV for a while, but eventually they brought her back. But with the exception of her having a picture with her with jizz drooling out of her mouth onto the NXT Women's title, other than that, nobody was really mad about the videos.
I remember when you sent me that.
Yeah.
I was like, don't show this at work. It's like, I'm at home. I'm like, check this shit. I go like,
yeah, I found it.
Porn video. I'm like, oh my god, that's Paige.
Yeah, and there's even one with her, Brad Maddox, and Xavier Woods in a devil's threesome.
Oh boy.
That's why when you saw, remember the rap battle between New Day and Usos?
Yeah.
He said, yo, New Day, just keep it PG. You know what's good. Just don't get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. And that's where that line came from. Mm-hmm. They were hinting at the sex tape.
Yep.
Which I thought was stupid was at no point while they were on SmackDown did they have a moment where Paige was there and Xavier Woods was there and they were kind of like awkwardly looking at each other. Like, hey. How you doing? Well, not that, but no, just them kind of awkward looking at each other like, hey, good to see you. How you been? Just kind of laughing it off, like, making a joke out of it. It would have been funny, but I guess Paige is too sensitive about the topic.
And
but
she went through some shit. She
did. Yeah, she did. I'll give her credit for that. But, the only thing people in the wrestling business were mad about was the jizz on the NXT Women's title. That's the only thing that made me angry. And that's not even the fact that it was jizz. It was the fact that you fucked with wrestling property. Yeah. That's disrespectful to the title. It's kind of like it's like Sammy G and Ty Conti and what they did with the TNT title. People who do disrespect titles like that, if Paige got in trouble for anything, it should have been that. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I didn't judge anything else in the videos. But, nowadays, if you do shit like that, you can be prosecuted. Yep. You can make money in a lawsuit. You can sue them and make money or have them do some time or community service or probation or whatever. Now, today, sex tapes aren't a big deal. No one gives a shit anymore. At the time, though, it was major. For Anderson, there's one financial upside to all the exposure. When she started on Baywatch, her salary was $5,000 an episode. In her final season, she made $40,000 per episode.
Oh, good grief.
She was able to make $40,000 an episode in her, not the show's final season, her final season. Yeah. But there's a cost. Her private life now just tabloid father, including the physical abuse she's experiencing at home. Yeah. Then she quits everything. First the show in 1997, and then Tommy Lee the following year. Yeah. So they get divorced. She quits Baywatch. That's why that was her final season. She left. Mm-hmm. And now Pamela Anderson is done, and Baywatch moves on without her. Yeah. Baywatch also goes through a breakup. After 7 years of shooting in LA, they moved the show to Hawaii because of the budget and the state of the business. It was cheaper to film. The new location is cheaper to produce in, and Baywatch Hawaii also makes a notable wardrobe change where the suits are now yellow instead of red. Jackson puts his rapping career behind him and joins the cast in Hawaii. He is now 18 and notices it's not just the swimsuits that are different. Ratings are low, and the show struggles to retain its audience, which is mirroring Jackson's own struggles. By the time Jeremy was 18, 19 years old, he was getting in real trouble. He's making millions of dollars and becomes a victim of the young star syndrome. Yeah. He starts getting high on crystal meth and cocaine. He would cover it up by going to rehab before shooting. He would forget his lines and not feel good, and eventually Hasselhoff discovers it and says, "What are you doing? Are you smoking pot?" Jeremy says, "Pot would probably help me right now."
Yeah, that would probably. I remember him saying that. That was pretty funny.
It used to have a father-son dynamic, but Jeremy was not being used as much because he's no longer adorable, and he felt some resentment. So when Hasselhoff called him out, he stormed off the set. He said, "Screw this. Fuck you. I don't need this fucking show anymore." And he left. In 1999, Jeremy Jackson quits Baywatch, but not the drugs and alcohol he battled with as a cast member. And the show's body image obsession soon creates a new problem to overcome. Jeremy gets on hormone replacement therapy, which if you've watched Dr. Collier's Facebook Live broadcasts or seen the YouTube videos on Ask Dr. MJ, I plugged that because I used to edit and promote stuff there. He talked a lot about hormone replacement therapy. And got jacked in the hopes of getting more airtime. His addiction takes its toll. By 2015, Jackson goes to jail for 9 months after stabbing a woman during a heated argument. Yeah. He hits rock bottom, but his former castmates don't give up on him. After 2 decades of battling addiction, he eventually cleans up his act. Yeah. He started working in the recovery community as a breathwork meditation healer, whatever the fuck that means.
Counselor.
And a certified drug and alcohol counselor.
Basically, a counselor.
But that other shit's like, what kind of fucking... that's some California bullshit. I'm sorry.
California bullshit.
Just, ugh. David Hasselhoff also struggled with addiction issues, as evidenced by his infamous video of him lying on a bathroom floor eating a hamburger. We all remember that video.
Oh, yes, we do.
It was filmed by his daughter. He asked her to record it so he could see for himself how he acted under the influence. Because apparently he wanted to see for himself. And once he saw that video, he went, oh, fuck, I gotta change this. I gotta turn this around. Baywatch spends the 90s indulging the world with its American dream. But after moving to Hawaii, the show's U.S. viewership steeply declines. And Baywatch syndicator finally pulls the plug in 2001. Its record-breaking run comes to an end. It was in the right place at the right decade, and they struck a chord with the audience. Baywatch continues to live on in reruns and in the public imagination. Pamela Anderson retains her captive audience.
Yes, she does.
As the media tracks her career and continued activism as a member of PETA.
We all know you don't wear fur, Pamela. It's okay.
Here's the thing. I don't have the only problem I have with PETA is when they dump buckets of blood on people who wear fur coats.
They ever do that to one of us, I'm going to jail.
Oh, trust me. Fur won't be the only thing that's murder. Yeah.
You got one more than motherfuckers. You know what PETA actually stands for? People eat tasty animals. Clap hands. Thank you very much, sir.
Brilliant.
Mic drop.
She also removed her implants in 2001. Yeah. Starting a trend of ending the obsession of breast implants. So, and that was something I forgot. I didn't know she got the implants taken out.
Yeah, she did. I think what she says, it was just hurting her back and her.
Yeah.
It was just.
And I don't think she needed it. I don't think she needs it anymore.
Nah, she don't.
Let's be honest. Pamela Anderson, even without the implants, was already hot.
Yeah, she was.
Okay? So I think she's fine the way she is. She's fine the way she is. Baywatch and its cast surfed the wave of worldwide success and mostly hit its head above water and proved that a made-up show about lifeguards can even help save a life. Here's a fun story. An 8-year-old kid had a 4-year-old brother who was drowning, and he dove in the pool, got his brother out, and gave his brother CPR and saved his life. When asked where he learned that, he said, watching Baywatch. I love this part, and I'm going to tell you why.
TV paid off, actually.
Well, here's the thing. All we would ever hear, especially in the 90s, and we talked about this and a few others, and I'm sure it'll come up again in future episodes, is about people talking about media violence influencing young minds.
Oh, bullshit.
And all the negative shit that we hear. Oh, video games made me do this. Marilyn Manson's music made me do this. This movie made me do this. This TV show made me do this. You notice this didn't get a lot of coverage?
Not even. I knew it until I heard it when I watched that.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
A kid learned from Baywatch how to save a life. And you would fucking think that would be a fucking topic to cover. But no. That's not what the media does. No. They don't cover the good stuff. They cover the bad stuff. Why? Because the media has become a brainwashing tool. Run by a bunch of tools that only want to control the people. And guess what?
What?
When they can't control you,
what?
That's when they hate you.
That's when they hate.
They hate what they can't tame.
Or control.
Same thing.
Oh.
There were 270 episodes total, and it all exists because of Uncle Sherwood. It's amazing what you can do with $10.
Yes, you can.
Because if Uncle Sherwood hadn't told them to go get the rights back, none of this would have ever happened. And they took that risk of only spending $10 and not asking for more money, and it paid off. And sometimes, and that's a lesson learned there. Sometimes you got to take a risk. You got to take a gamble, and it pays off. And I learned this lesson a long time ago. You can get 100 no's. All you need to be successful to make it, 1 yes. That's all it takes. That one yes.
That one yes.
And you got it.
Yes, you do.
All right, that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude Boochcast Reviews Darkside of the 90s for this week. Zach, thank you so much for joining me for episode 6.
Yep.
Stay tuned for next week, because it's going to be a crazy one, ladies and gentlemen. Zach already knows. We've got A Tale of Two Cults.
Yep.
That's right. We're going to get into the doomsday cult world of the 90s next week. It's going to be a doozy. So make sure you guys follow the Boochcast on all of its podcast platforms. Links are down in the description box below. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Links are down in the description box below. Support the Boochcast. Donate what you can to help us keep our show running at anchor.fm/theboochcast/support. Pick the donation that works within your budget. The link is down in the description box below. And of course, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified so you never miss another episode of Boochcast Reviews Darkside of the 90s, as well as other additional Boochcast YouTube content. We'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, pizza baby!